Hello and welcome to What the Tech from Boast AI, where we talk with some of the brilliant minds behind new and exciting tech initiatives to learn what it takes to tackle technological uncertainty and eventually change the world. Today, I'm thrilled to welcome Acto co-founder and CTO Kumar Erramilli onto the show. Acto is an AI-powered intelligent field excellence platform built for life sciences that helps sales, marketing, and medical teams improve customer engagement and brand performance by turning field professionals into masters of the message, who engage healthcare providers and their support teams with authority and impact. With Acto, biopharma companies can ensure field professionals are always confident and credible, delivering the right messages to HCPs in face-to-face interactions, while providing senior leaders and frontline managers with the insight they need to drive continuous field force effectiveness. While all of this is impressive on its own, Kumar has a wealth of experience across the North American tech ecosystem, having played a role in numerous startups and tech-centric organizations in his career to date. He's a passionate inventor of AI and software technologies that are looking to change the way life science industry consumes technology. So, without further ado, welcome to the show, Kumar.
Hello, everyone. Looking forward to speaking with the audience.
You've been part of the Boast community for a while now. I know you know a lot of folks on our team already, but
Yes.
Beyond the kind of really wide-ranging background that I just gave in my intro there, I'd love to hear from you. Tell us about Kumar. How did you get into the entrepreneurship game, and what got you into building Acto?
Yeah. Thanks for the question, Paul. Just like every other immigrant family, I moved to Canada with high hopes, lots of dreams, and here is putting in a lot of hard work behind the scene. I went to Waterloo and post-Waterloo worked for BlackBerry, as every other Waterloo graduate does. At that time, RIM. And at that time, RIM was popping. They were like the company of the decade for representing Canada in the global ecosystem of technology. And as part of RIM, I was in a team which was an acquisition, and that company was being acquired by RIM. And I was reporting directly to the CEO of that acquiring company, and he planted the seed of entrepreneurship in me. So directly firsthand got a chance to learn from CEO of an exiting company, taught me what it takes to build a business that drives real impact in the world, that can drive real revenue and commercial growth, and eventually a commercial exit. So learn from the master, learn from the best, led my pathway towards entrepreneurship. Started my first company in 2009, exited that in 2012, started my second company in 2012, exited in 2015, and now started Acto as a serial entrepreneur in 2015 with two of my roommates from Waterloo, and the rest of the history, man. So now we're 150 full-time strong and just growing, and also serving over 75 plus customers in the life sciences space, just changing the face of this industry.
It's awesome. First off, I think it's so cool that you're still with your team from Waterloo from back in the day. That is something that I love to hear from founders, because you see some folks who've been together since childhood. You see some folks who actually cut their teeth in the weeds, building products, working in the entrepreneurship space, and literally just working in cool tech. So I love that you all kind of got the bug. You stayed together. And to your point, you benefited from talking directly to a member of the C-suite who could really kind of take you under their wings and show you what it takes to succeed in that space.
He wanted to be a part-time chopper pilot. He wanted to taxi people from Toronto to Ottawa, Toronto to Montreal through just chopper. And he was just offering the service and doing that on a part-time. So he bought half a chopper after the exit. And that's what he did.
That is so cool. So I am frequently on porter flights from Boston to Toronto, Boston to Ottawa. If he could get me on a chopper, that would save me a time. I'd actually feel more confident on the chopper. But I think it's really cool that he has a passion in everything that he does. And that's kind of what he distilled down to you into building Acto and getting that off the ground. Yeah. And I also, again, need to shout out the Lazaritas of it all, the post-BlackBerry.
Yes.
It's so funny. I'm based down here in Boston again, and we have a lot of big businesses. Like we have our HubSpot. A lot of people in every company that you look at down here have a history from working with HubSpot or working with one of our big ones. I feel like BlackBerry is kind of the behemoth up there.
It was.
Yeah.
Everyone was on BlackBerry. Everyone was on BBM. That was a thing back then. And everyone just wanted to, it was the hype.
Yeah, it's cool. And again, I just want to shout out, you had mentioned RIM, Research in Motion.
Yep.
Really cool stuff going on over there. I'm glad that you could kind of sink your teeth into the projects there that gave you the, if not passion to build all the startups that you gave out, after that, at least the prowess to understand how to build those products. So now bringing it to Acto, I'd love to know what sets you guys apart from others in the industry. Is there anyone doing exactly what you do in the biopharma space or in the life sciences space? Or what is unique about Acto from the top down, I guess?
Yeah, great question, Paul. And thanks for asking this because we get this question a lot. And we're proud to say that we are unique in our space. We do not have a competition if we consolidate our entire tech stack and our entire solution. But who we do compete with is point solutions in specific service offerings. So as part of our Intelligent Field Excellence platform, we have various tools and capabilities that we usually displace single point solutions within our customers. So when we talk about our learning product, or when we talk about coaching product, or our meetings product, or our like self-learning adaptive journeys product. So we do have point solution competition in these spaces, but when we bring the entire cloud platform together, we usually stand apart. And that's why we got recognized as the major contender by Peak Matrix and we got spotted in. We have the largest portfolio in life sciences in the world for what we do in field excellence. So we're proud of that. And, along the way, we stumble upon amazing partners like Boast, and they've been incredible in just helping us innovate more and more.
There isn't anybody who does one-to-one exactly what Boast does, just like there's no one who does exactly what Acto does. Sure, there's a web of point-to-point solutions that could maybe get it all done, but that is not efficient. That's almost a distraction, I think, from what people need to actually be effective in their roles and to actually focus on, in your case, driving innovation. Boast definitely embodies that. I mean, we have our platform, we have our software on the one hand, but we're also people because we want to round out the whole service when it comes to R&D tax credits. We don't want you to have to sign up to plug your data into a pure play software provider and then have your accountant spend another 60 hours working on it. We want to make sure that we carry you through the R&D tax credit process or the shred process specifically for Canada. Yeah. And I love that you want to make it a single toolkit for those biopharma clients. And again, there's no one-to-one competitor, but that's just really, really cool. So I'd love to know, can you maybe talk about some of the use cases specifically? You had mentioned some of the portals, you had mentioned some of the point solutions, but tell me about some of the most powerful ones that people can latch onto today.
Yeah, 100%. So we help pharma companies with a few of their very key important commercial learning and development strategies, and as well as commercial excellence strategies. Some of those are new hire onboarding, product launches. So whenever they're about to launch a new life-saving technology into the market, they want to make sure that the field force that they're hiring, which is their biggest, largest spend, is effective in communicating that message out to the lifesavers, which are the doctors, right? We ensure that the reps that are carrying and amplifying this message of that life-saving technology are masters of the message. That's what we call it, masters of message. You want to essentially become a master of the message of carrying and amplifying this life-saving technology out into the field. And when they become the masters of the message, the doctors are now resonating with them. It turns the table where doctors are running away from these reps that want to just sell them drugs to like, holy shit, there's a new innovative life-saving tech in the world. Let me see if I can prescribe this to my patient because I'm now better educated and better served by this rep who's just not doing lip service, but they're really meaning the innovation behind all that money that the pharma spent in researching and innovating on that drug. It's now coming to fruition when the rep is delivering the right message at the right time.
I like that because, again, you allude to the huge investment that goes into all of this work. And it's DOA if your reps are scaring away the people who you actually need to be your action, who need to action on all of this.
That's right.
So what you had said too, rather than having those doctors running away from the reps and fearing the sale, you make them embrace the actual experience with the reps and really become an advocate for those products themselves because, like you had said, they mastered the message.
Yes.
So it gets your customers to actually do the work for you a little bit down the line, which I think is so cool. Now, can we talk about, again, Boast, we focus on companies that are steeped in unique R&D. Could you tell me a little bit about some of the unique innovation that you guys have driven with your platform, aside from pulling everything into kind of a holistic single point of intelligence for your teams to use? What goes into that?
Yeah, great question. What we are always thriving for is putting Canada on the innovation global landscape. We want to be one of the pioneers of innovative tech and invent new incredible technology. So that's essentially always our goal. Boast is a very key and important partner in that because we want to leverage all the support we get from the government in creating new jobs, new opportunities, and innovating on the new technology that we do. Needless to say, of course, we're dabbling into a lot of AI. I'm proud to share that AWS Canada is our AI partner from that sense, where they have recognized Acto as one of the fastest growing startups in Canada. And they want to support us through their models, through their ecosystem, and really just inject us with all the AI power and engineering muscle that we need to innovate and put Canada on that global innovative map. So in that vein, we've been leveraging AWS's Anthropic cloud model because they've invested heavily into Anthropic, and we've been leveraging Cloud Opus and the Cloud Sonnet 3.5, the new models, in powering AI knowledge assistant that we call is essentially a life sciences focused knowledge assistant that is helping out admins, doctors, reps, patients. There's different use cases for Leica where it becomes a conversational agent, similar to every other powered like conversational agent, but focused on these specific life sciences roles that are in this industry. These are the key stakeholders in this industry that are moving this industry forward. And we build knowledge assistants for each of these roles. And there's a single stream of line that connects all of these, Paul, which is your life sciences clinical information on the drug itself, which is what your FDA approves you on, which is what the world recognizes you for safety and efficacy on. And it's the same information that the rep is trying to deliver to the doctor and the same information that the doctor is trying to deliver to the patient, with which at the end of the day, the patient's lifestyle changes, right? When they take this. So it's the same string of information that is powering these knowledge assistants, but the interaction with and the user experience for each of these stakeholders is different, right? So that's what Leica is. And that's the vision of what we're building.
That is awesome. So everybody's pulling from the same source of information. There's not conflicting opinions or even conflicting
Couldn't say any better than that. Yes.
Yeah, and that's what you need too. And especially when it comes to healthcare, especially when it comes to biopharma, again, it funnels up to those huge investments a lot of your customers are making into that. But at the end of the day, it's also helping people. And you want to make sure that you have the most accurate source of truth possible. And that's what Leica delivers, which is so awesome. That's what Boast is trying to do too. We try to make it so that we're not stretching you things, so that we're pulling from the same information on our platform that your finance team is using, that your R&D team is using to track time or to even just manage the projects, as well as even the payroll information.
Yeah.
We're all leveraging it from a single source of truth. It's a different experience based on if you work at Boast and you're one of the tech writers on our team who's going to pull together the claim for you, or if you're one of our clients who wants to actually hop into the platform and see how the claim is coming together, or just gut check how your R&D is going. You want that single source of truth. And
then, Paul, let me double down on that. It's not just lip service that you're doing right now on this podcast. I can attest to you that we're about to file our 2024 Boast Shred claim. And the first thing that we're doing is from that single source of truth that you just mentioned, that's the same information that is trickling down into our Shred claim. And we're going to be doing a review of that, which is incredible to see, right? That's where rubber is meeting the road for the Boast platform coming together. And I must say, I'm not just saying this because I'm on this podcast and I'm one of your customers, but it truly is like a real revolutionary thing that you guys are doing. So I'm always a proud customer for Boast, man, for that.
Kumar, thank you so much. Again, you are taking the words right out of my mouth, and I can't thank you enough for it, because that's what it comes down to. The government also wants to make sure that you're being completely honest, and they don't want conflicting paper trails. And we want to make sure that your claim is fully defensible. And again, when you're doing really cool stuff, you're making the investments that you guys are making to really do things that are going to have an actionable impact in the world. We don't want there to be any question about it. So that is awesome. And again, I think that it's just an ethos we share. We love working with teams that share that just practical. Now I'm going to dive into it. What's on deck for the rest of 2024? Even looking at 2025. I mean, you guys are always growing. You're already huge. I'd love to know, what can we look forward to as the year rolls on for you?
Yeah, we're growing, but there's plenty of room to grow more. So we're going to continue to doing that. We want to just double down more on creating the real world use cases for Leica. We want all the reps that are on our platform and that are not even to just start and adopting Leica in their day to day. Look, for me, as an inventor and as a CTO, I'm a big believer that if technology is just, you invent technology for the sake of inventing and it's not being used, then it's meaningless, in my opinion. And for SaaS, that's key. Adoption and engagement of users with the platform is everything. So what we want to do in 2024 and 2025 for the remainder of it is ensure that Leica is getting the real adoption in the world that it truly deserves. And second, we're building the world's first life sciences marketplace for the entire commercial learning and field excellence in the category. So we're building, we call it the Actoverse. So it's our universe of integrations, tech partners, content partners coming together to build an ecosystem for just this pharma industry and then the biopharma and the medtech industry to change how the industry is thinking about technology coming together. So that's the focus for 2025. There'll be press about it. We're going to give massive shout outs to our tech partners in Salesforce, Viva, in AWS, and other integrations that we're doing with other existing players. And massive shout outs to content agencies that have been putting out content for amplifying that. Remember the masters of message that I said? They've been working tirelessly to make reps masters of message. And these content agencies have been in play for over 30, 40 years in this industry. So we're bringing them onto our ecosystem and our Actoverse and enabling them with our technology so that we become the delivery vehicle and their content and their, incredible knowledge is transferred to our technology and our Leicas and our innovation. Right? So really looking forward for 2025 and what's in store in the future.
Oh man, my ears perked up when you mentioned the content of it all. Obviously, I'm our head of content here at Boast, but I love a good assignment. And the hardest part when you're in the content game is having that delivery channel to actually get it out to people who will use it. I'm thinking back to when GDPR was huge, 10 years ago or so. I wrote so many guides to GDPR and I'm like, we need to get this in front of the people who will actually action on it. That was always the biggest struggle. Kumar, it sounds like you guys have a lot going on. I also want to call back to that. If the tech isn't being used and it's not being adopted, we were talking to Shangu from Foci Solutions yesterday, and he literally made a very similar point. He's like, if it's not solving real problems, it's a waste of time, it's a waste of investment. If it's not being used, you didn't do your customer research, you didn't do the baseline talking to the people who are actually going to be your evangelist future down the line. And I love that you guys, again, two successful businesses I just mentioned here, Acto and Foci. It's very similar in that you guys are able to really action on real world problems. And that's why you guys are taking off. And that's why it's only up from here. I'm so excited. That is so cool. Kumar, again, this is my favorite question now. It takes it a little back, but what is some advice you would give to anybody looking to get started in the entrepreneurship game today? What would you say to somebody looking to build a business in 2024?
Yeah. So thanks for asking this. Of course, there's 1,000 ways to answer this question, and every entrepreneur has their own footprint and fingerprint on this, answer. But, for me, it came down to resilience. Resilience from just, the whole pandemic, life-changing for many people. Resilience from a market contraction on how SaaS is being evaluated. Resilience from interest rates hiking up and capital becoming super expensive. Resilience where tech spend is being questioned. Everyone is questioning, why am I spending this on the technology? What is the use, to your point, right? So you need serious, willpower to just resist all these external forces. So entrepreneurs have this unique characteristic and trait, in my opinion, of taking a blow in the gut, they shake it off, stand up, and tomorrow is another day. Come back stronger, pivot, do what it takes to stand up and do what it takes to change your strategy. And then you stand up, you're back up on your feet again. That's what entrepreneurship is about. Every single entrepreneur that has made it, that has done it, has gone through this phase. There's been a phase where their bank accounts were in single digits. There have been times where, they've had tough battles with their own co-founders and, not aligning on a single point decision. These days have come to every single entrepreneur. So for me, the advice that I would give all the young entrepreneurs out there is, if you're going through a problem, trust me, there's been other entrepreneurs that have gone through the problem, but it's their resilience that just keeps them going. And you have to fight, always figure out a way to pivot, always figure out a way to be agile. Your ego cannot stop you from learning more and pivoting and adapting to what the market is demanding, what the customer is demanding, and what the tech needs to go towards. All of these are just coming with your resilience, your ability to pivot, your ability to be agile, and you have to be adaptable. So you have to adapt. That's the advice that I give. You can't take that for granted. Not all entrepreneurs are built that way. And some of them that are not built that way, they unfortunately fade away. But the ones that want to sustain have to be able to resist. So you have to build that resilience.
I love that. And again, you can't let your ego stop you. There's going to be challenges. And I'm glad that you listed out some of the challenges too, that I think you almost have to expect you're going to come across too. You're going to have conflicts with your co-founders, even if they're your buddies from college. It might not mean you're going to end the relationship, but sometimes it does. And that's not a bad thing. You just got to be resilient and get through it.
One more advice for companies that are going from 0 to 1 million, 1 to 10 million, 10 to your 100 million pathway. One strong advice that I've learned over time is that as you're growing from all these milestones and your company is going through these, understand that growth can also hit a plateau. It's not guaranteed that just because you went from 0 to 1, your path from 1 to 10 is going to be just smooth sailing. At every different stage of the company, growth plateaus. So you have to figure out a new way to grow, whether that's scaling by adding more people, whether that's adding more capital to fuel the company, whether that's finding adjacent markets and pivoting your go-to-market strategy from just focusing on one niche to finding other pockets. There needs to be some way where you're essentially understanding that growth can also plateau and don't take the growth for granted. That is very key for taking the company from one stage to another stage. And once you understand that, every single large company, even if you think about your mammoths and behemoths like Microsoft, your Apples, Steve Jobs wasn't just content with just an iPhone or an iPod. They were adjacent markets that was always tapping into. It's not always going to be a success. There are going to be failures that he's going to find, but you always have to find your other pockets and other adjacent markets where you can grow into, right? So stay with Microsoft. You can't just stop yourself with Windows. You have to find adjacent pocket markets and, Office. All these are prime examples for just scale, right? So the point being that all growth can plateau. And you just, once you find out that, okay, this is plateauing, how do I go from there? What else do I do to take it from that growth stage to the next growth stage?
That's incredible advice, because I think so many people do their victory lap after they've gotten from that 0 to 1, and then they don't think about the 1 to 10, let alone, okay, we have revenue. It's not about maintaining it. That's not how this game works. You need to keep growing. You need to identify that white space. And I love that, again, that ties back to the resilience of it all. Sure. Have your victory laps. Do your cheerleading when you get those wins. You want to high five your co-founders when you're winning, but don't rest on your laurels from there. It is not just a one and done. That's part of the game. And frankly, if you're not down to keep playing that for the long term, or at least until you can get to the point of exit, you probably shouldn't be in the space. All growth can plateau. So you got to make sure that you are ready for the fight at all stages. So Kumar, this is fantastic. I really cannot thank you enough for hopping on. I'm going to leave it there, but truly, thank you so much, Kumar.
No worries, Paul.